today more than ever, again with the crisis, we see that there are some issues with no borders, and at the end of the day, no matter what is your background, your religion, your beliefs, your education, or whatever, we're all humans, and we may at some point of our life face the same things.
Hi, welcome back to Women in Talk. In today's episode, we're going to have my dear friend Elise from France, and today we're going to discuss about what is global citizen and is it a mindset or is it a title? So, for anyone who is interested, please stay tuned. Hi, Elise. How are you?
Hello, Kanisha. I'm good, and you?
Thank you. I'm good too. So, it's been a while. Alice, please could you introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. So my name is Elise. I'm 26 years old. I'm French, and I'm currently living in Paris. I'm a headhunter. I'm looking for IT profiles for big companies or startups, so it's quite diverse. I love my job so far. And well, we know each other from AIESEC. So AIESEC, the youth organization that many people know. So yeah, that's me.
Nice one. So, since today our topic would be a global citizen or global citizenship, like, could you please give us a brief definition or like anything to define what is global citizen?
Yes, so for me, being a global citizen is more a mindset. I think that you could describe a person who is a global citizen with different characteristics or behaviors. Um, First, for me, the most important one is open-mindedness. Is people who always open to learn new perspectives or ways of doing things, being tolerant to difference and embrace diversity.
Mhm.
Um, for me, being a global citizen is also being curious and being proactive in looking and trying to understand differences, seeking for informations, trying to understand what happens in the world and not just in our own bubble.
Exactly.
And I would say being a global citizen is also about being humble. Being French, and being European, I think that there might be a mindset in Western countries where you think that your culture might be the best one because I mean I'm part of the most like powerful and richest countries in the world, and we may tend that we're better in this aspect. However, when you try to start understand um, how things are in other parts of the world, like it be humble you a bit. So I think that's also part of being a global citizen.
Nice definition. Anyway, so it is anything that is related to something bigger than you, like globally. For instance, like you've mentioned, right? It's not only focusing on your bubble. I
Exactly.
like that explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's being aware that your world is not the world.
Yeah. So it's like it seems like seeing the world in much larger, like we are more like responsible to a bigger community than in our community, no?
Yeah, and it's also knowing that actually you don't know,
Ah,
you
okay,
know.
I see. So, as you mentioned, you believe that global citizen is actually a mindset, not a title. So,
Hmm.
why do you feel like global citizen is actually a mindset? Because I feel like maybe for certain people who actually they travel quite a lot, they could maybe entitle themselves, I'm a global citizen. So, what's
Mm.
actually the difference? Like, why you say it's actually a mindset?
Um, it's funny because like nowadays, I mean, not today with the COVID, but people have access to, traveling. It's a lot easier. And I see a lot of people who travel all around the world. They take nice pictures, they enjoy their time at the sun or partying or whatever. But it's not because you travel that you really take the time to understand the culture, the local people. Um, if I take French people, for example, I mean, not all of them, but I see on the social media people I know, they travel with their group of French people. They go abroad, but they stay together, they remain together. And at the end of the day, okay, geographically they're somewhere else, but it doesn't mean that, they're going to embrace the local culture and mindset and adapt and try to understand and learn how things are done. They can stay in their own bubble, but somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's true. So it's basically, yeah, it doesn't mean we travel a lot. It doesn't count to be a global citizen. It's actually our behavior
Mm-hmm.
towards it. That's why it's like a mindset, as you said, right? So it's like
Yeah.
um how you actually perceive things, right? Because I feel like people who, for example, only travel, they don't experience the something that is more intimate, right? It's like
Mm.
more commercial things.
Yeah, and yeah, that, and also, you may have this reflex, or I don't know how to say that in English, to maybe look for something familiar, like for instance food. I mean, you can go to India and order pizza, for example, because you might be a bit scared of trying something different, something new, something that you might not like,
Mm-hmm.
and try to find again this comfort zone when you should actually like leave this comfort zone when you travel. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, I get what you meant. So it's like, yeah, to be integrated with a new culture, as like to to be aware and understand a wider world, in a wider perspective. Why do you feel like people need to be educated in this subject, for example?
Um, well, I think that today more than ever, again with the crisis, we see that there are some issues with no borders, and at the end of the day, no matter what is your background, your religion, your beliefs, your education, or whatever, we're all humans, and we may at some point of our life face the same things, and when we have one common enemy, we should all be like stick together, be united, and think of the bigger picture rather than our
Bubble.
own perspectives, on ways of doing things, and not criticize our neighbor, but trying to understand him. And again, as I was saying, we're all humans, and that's what matters the most. um, and in such times, again, I think it like the education of being a global citizen is quite important. Yeah.
It's true because I feel like people who are lacking or who doesn't know this kind of terms or even what is a global citizen makes
Mm.
them ignorant, right? They
Yes, yes.
realize I'm a global citizen. Anywhere that I am, I just need to be aware that people have rules, people have cultures, there's things that I need to respect. So it
Mm.
that's the reason why I said like it helps me not to be an ignorant person. Do you agree in that?
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean.
Your
Yeah.
side, what is the benefit of being a global citizen?
Mm. Well, there are several benefits, but first of all, knowledge, like you were just saying, yeah, it's a shame actually to be ignorant, and there's so much more you can learn and discover, and that's the richness of the mind, the richness of the mind that you can gain. get a lot more interesting conversations, discuss, with people, like, again, like, matters of perspectives, ways of doing things, things that you wouldn't even know, like about food, or whatever. um like, yeah, so conversations, and also friends all around the world, like we were talking about traveling. That is a chance for you to go travel abroad and this time experience the local culture with the local person, really understand their way of living, and yeah, and languages also, you know,
Nice.
English or other languages. It's always a benefit. And yeah, again, I think the more you learn, the more open you become also. um, and when, I mean, personally, now that I could have traveled and exchanged with other people, being in Paris, when I meet a foreign person, I try to be more welcoming, um, and understand where they come from, and that it's not always easy to, be out of your comfort zone like this. So I try to make it a bit easier for the person, because I've been there and I know what they're going through.
Yes.
um, and yeah.
It's like actually it's a benefit when you could actually found like make friends, make a new friends in another country, like to connect, to understand what's really happening in their country, not
Hmm.
like only in our country. For
Yeah.
example, when you travel, how do you manage to make friends? Because I feel like there's
Yeah.
certain people, maybe they want to make friends but they're just shy, or like doesn't know how to make a casual conversation.
Yeah, it's not always easy. It's, yeah, especially if you're a bit shy. And yeah, well, personally, I had the chance to go study abroad for a year in Portugal, so that helped a lot with the studies. I worked also in another country, in Austria. And so with your colleagues or whatever, you start to make some friends. And for me, what was an eye opener was joining AIESEC in Austria. That was a very good way of making new friends locally, and also because the organization is international. So it's so easy to introduce yourself to someone else, and then that's how it starts, and then you make friends everywhere. So basically, to answer your question, if you want to make international friends, I mean, a good way to do so is to join an international organization, or yeah, a
Okay.
meetup or whatever. Yeah.
Maybe other than that, it would be a challenge that to get out from your comfort zone and to be adaptive in a way, to be more adjustable, because we are not always the same with other people, right? So,
And also, as I was telling you earlier, you should not, like, make it a big deal immediately, think, okay, I'm going to change the world. That starts with baby steps. It's like, first, like, maybe joining a meeting or joining an organization, and then step by step, when you take small challenges and you see that you can overcome them, it empowers you a bit more each time. And that's how you can face bigger and bigger and bigger challenge that can have bigger impacts, on other people's lives or on the society or whatever. But again, you should not make it a big deal immediately. That would come naturally, but it has to start at some point. But yeah, for me, my experience with AIESEC, for example, and making so many new friends and connections, it had a really positive impact on me. And I thought that would be a shame not to give the same opportunity to other people. So that's how it started for me. Mm.
okay. At least you have to start and at least do a small steps. So maybe what you meant is as well to start within ourselves, no?
Yeah, start within yourself. Next time you have an opportunity to do whatever, just try it. Give it a try. It's like the movie Yes Man. I don't know if you watched it.
Ah, okay, yeah, Jim Carrey, no?
Yes, right. Yeah. I mean that's more extreme, but the guy, he was alone in his flat, depressed, and one day he just started to say yes to everything. And that opened him like so many new opportunities. He made so many friends, he learned so many new things. And it started with a simple yes. Then if you don't like it, you can always stop. You have nothing to lose, everything to win, to gain. So yeah, next time you have a new opportunity, just try it.
Because since we're talking about the challenges, what kind of uh, limit or barriers being
Mhm.
a global citizen?
Well, I mean, it's always easy to say, yeah, be open minded and look for informations and na na na, but not the case for everyone. It's not the case for like poor people or people who are not guided by the right persons.
Mhm.
You get really influenced by your family, your friends, and if you're not surrounded by people who can lift you up, it may be difficult to have this look, this perspective, or at least know that things out there exist. You just need to someone to show you the way, and then it will go on. But not everyone has this mentor or this influencer that will show you the right path. It's not that easy.
Because I feel like what people sometimes miss in most of the school system, they're just focusing on the theory rather than the character of a person. And I feel like global citizen is actually building a character, no?
Mm-hmm.
It's more like something embedded in yourself.
Yeah, or it's values also.
Exactly, exactly. It's not like only like like we've already mentioned, it's not only you travel abroad and you feel like global citizen, but it's values, perspective on how you facing
What are the
differences.
ways how I should behave? So you have to be super vulnerable and accept that you're not as good as you think you are. Just speaking the language, you can feel dumb at first because you're not understood. You have a weird accent and people may laugh at you, but you have to accept being vulnerable to in order to integrate and again put yourself in question.
I feel like global citizen, it feels like you belong to the whole world, not a specific
Hmm.
country. Do you also agree on that?
Well, it's funny because after I came back from 2 years of being abroad,
Mhm.
I felt like, yeah, I mean, I'm French, but I belong here, and also I don't belong here. I feel like I belong a bit everywhere. But now it's been 3 years that I'm living back in France, in Paris, and I don't have this feeling. This feeling is not as strong anymore. So I think that it's a feeling that can evolve with the time. But maybe tomorrow again, if I travel or if I move back in another country, I will get this feeling back. I think it's yes, it evolves with the time. It's funny. Mm.
Yeah, at least you feel like, for example, because of that experience in your international experience, you somehow you cannot really relate with people who's not yet having that kind of experience, right?
Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to understand each other. I mean, people may be like, "Yeah, I feel you," but no, you don't really feel me, until you didn't live it or experience it. It's no, you can't. Yeah, you carry a bit of
And
all these different cultures in you, and if tomorrow, for example, I would meet a Portuguese person in the street, I would. I mean, I would not connect as deep as if I was Portuguese and I have would have like grown there. But there are some like silly things, a song, a dish, whatever, or an expression that you can feel and connect with this person, so that's very funny actually, and that's part of you, at the end of the day. It's
So, do you have any tips on how to become a global citizen?
Well, again, I think that it's also about proactivity. You cannot just wait and stay on your sofa and believe that this is going to happen to you. You have to take actions. I mean, nowadays, it's not really easy to travel, but you don't obviously only have to travel to become a global citizen. You can educate yourself, read a book or watch a documentary on a different country or culture or whatever. um, Discuss, exchange, like we're doing today, with someone from abroad, with different perspectives, with different experiences, trying to honestly and genuinely have an open mind and understand what the person is trying to say without even trying to influence or impose, your point of view, but really being like, okay, I know nothing, I'm just here to listen and learn. Yeah, being really in this mindset of I'm here to learn and understand and trying to understand, and always, yeah, remain with this tolerance and always like being super respectful, um because again, like there's no culture that is above one another. It's just different. And yeah, that would be, yeah, and just discuss, exchange, um, with an open mind.
Somehow, it's like what you've mentioned. It's like a new form of traveling, actually. Not
Yeah,
not like physically traveling to a country, but because of
with your
watching a
mind.
documentary,
Yeah,
exchanging conversation like this with a foreigner,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually a form of traveling, right?
Road, you can travel and not do it. You can travel and remain with your own group of friends from your own country and not do it. So for me, it's complementary.
Okay. Actually, um, all the idea of global citizen is actually being a open-minded person as well, right?
Yeah, open-minded. Yeah, I think it sums all of it. It
Yeah.
sums up all of
It sums it sums
it.
yeah, all of it. I feel like the barrier, if we talk about the barrier, if we're just a closed-minded person, we're not going to be integrated with new or different cultures, right?
No matter what you do, it's all try to discuss. If there's no discussion, I mean, what can you learn?
Yeah, even for example, the climate change issue,
Yeah,
it's not climate change is not an issue in only, for example, in China or in Italy. It's like
it's
every
global.
country,
Yeah,
everyone is facing climate change together. So I feel like if people are going abroad, and yeah, I mean, we have the responsibility together to contribute in our environment, right?
yeah, yeah. No, it's global, and it's, as we said in ISEC, it's think global, act local. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
think it's
nice.
going to that.
Think global, act local. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually, for example, like Black Lives Matter that happened
Mm-hmm.
in US, for example. It ignites people perspective or like action to make a change or contribute in that movement in a part of the world, right?
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
it's a very powerful thing if we could imagine it, right?
Yes. No, like the movement, it spread everywhere. I mean, I again like to talk about my experience here in France. We had a lot of demonstrations for Black Lives Matter, um, and people got, again. It's not again to make it about France, but it reminds me a lot about like la Révolution Française
Mhm.
and how it started to spread all around Europe. And I feel like this time it's the same, but for the US. And they they influence. I feel like they empowered people to also, make this, like, not revolution, but sort of, not only in the US but also in Europe. And I think, yeah, this powerful movement really ignites, or yeah, influence people to engage themselves for the cause, and make a change.
Someone in a part of the world have a problem in another part of the world listen and heard and want to do the same thing, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes. At the end of the day, no matter what's your nationality, you may face the same issues. Uh, it's yeah. Again, for Black Lives Matter, a black person in the US is also a black person in France. May face the same racism actions. And that's yeah, that's the whole point, and that unites people.
And do you have any message to women out there about inclusivity or diversity or anything to empower them?
Yes, I would say, I feel like women, we're every day starting to understand that actually we don't need a man to become someone, and we shouldn't be afraid of taking leadership positions or initiatives. I mean, we're much stronger than we think we are, and we just need to get confidence. And again, I think I would make a link with what I said previously, but you should not make a big deal about it. Like, really start like with baby steps, and confidence will come naturally. But again, we are much stronger than we think we are, and I'm sure that we can all do great things.
Oh, it's true. Do you have probably any references, like maybe movie or documentary books that is interested to at least to open our mind more?
um I mean, it's very factual, but there's this book. It's called Factfulness, I believe, but I
I know
forgot
that
the
book.
name of the author. You know it?
Yes,
Yeah,
I read it. Ah, yeah, yeah.
it's a great book. Yeah, I mean, it's global,
Okay.
and I
So thank you very much, Alice, for your time and for
thank you for
sharing
your
your experience.
invitation.
So
Thanks,
okay.
Kanisha.